use it. Let's just roll without it.
You're right. All right, let's do it. Here we go. What's up, guys? John Sintez, Alex Rojas, Let's Win a Ball Game podcast. Big day.
Good morning.
Game 6, World Series 2021. Alex Rojas,
Leaderboards.
my guy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great this morning. I am curious to see how Game 6 goes, and I'm ready to hear some of your takes on some of my questions.
Definitely. I'm ready. I got my Savant up right now. I got my
and
cheat sheet.
It's literally about how to start a ball game. Very curious about this. So, first 3 pitches to Jose Altuve in Game 5. Do you remember the order of them?
No, but I was just going to look that up right now.
Curveball,
5.
curveball, fastball. Right? To start, Tucker Davidson, by the way, who, like, this guy who did a good job, I would say, relatively to his experience level, right? He didn't, let the doors fall off that quickly. So I thought he was going to get, like, one inning, honestly. I was very skeptical. I was like, this guy hasn't played since when? And he's got how many innings, right? I was blown away that the Braves started that guy. But you've got Jose Altuve up there, maybe the best postseason hitter of all time, just said it. And it could be true. And they throw 2 curveballs to start the game and then a fastball. And the first look on Jose Altuve's face was a questionable high strike to start the game on a curveball. But the way that he kind of dictated his body language, he knew and I knew what kind of game it was going to be. Like, it was just kind of he kind of showed their hand for them, right? Or at least for this guy, right?
Right.
And it turned out that their game plan with Tucker Davidson, slow the guys down because they were going to try to jump them, right? Starting with their best guy, right? Which led me to thinking about it all starts with Jose Altuve. Right? If that guy gets on, I would love to know, like, the stats. Like, if that dude leads off and he gets on, he's almost like a Ricky Henderson, where Ricky Henderson got on and he scored. Like, if he started off, he led off the game with 82 home runs in his career, started a game with 82 home runs. That's incredible, right? So I'm just curious as to a pitcher's take on 2 curveballs. Let's go. You ever thrown a first pitch curveball to a batter to start a game?
I have.
You have. Yeah. There's step 1.
Yeah, I have done that. I did do that.
That's wild. I've never called that.
One of the best games I think I've ever pitched in my life was in Mochis, and I'll remember I think I struck out 11, and it was like hilarious because I love facing left-handed hitters, and they gave me 8 of them. They gave me 8 in a row. And I was just like, okay, this is going to be fun. And so I just ran, I think the first pitch of the game, I think we threw a slider, but I was calling a slurve. So I basically just threw a banger. First pitch of the game to this lefty and just whack, strike 1. And he just looked at me and I was like, this is what we're doing.
Incredible.
And then it was just Cutternation inside after that.
Right. So what do you see when you see a guy starting a game off just hammering breaking balls, right? And I will say I saw a lot of breaking balls from that staff the whole game. They were just spinning a lot of balls in Game 5. And they kind of struggled seeing the zone a little bit with those curveballs. I'm not sure if they used the right guys to execute that game plan. I don't know the Braves that well. But in the pieces of the game that I was able to watch, just kind of moving around the house, getting stuff done, dude, I saw a lot of Braves trying to execute curveballs, and from the leading off the inning throughout the entirety of the inning, and it got me to thinking about leading off. And so I just want to know, from a pitching perspective, obviously you want to get the first out. You don't want to get any hits, any walks, anybody on base.
Right.
But starting an inning, right? What is that different inning by inning? Obviously, as you get more tired, maybe it might be a little different in the ninth if you're going to CG, right? Or if you're in a relief appearance, right? Maybe that's different for some guys. right? So I'm just curious, like, starting off innings.
Well, there's formulas inning per inning, right? Things will work, things won't work. And a main goal of a pitcher is really 3 up, 3 down as fast as possible, right? That's the best you could possibly do. If you had 3 pitches and 3 outs, that would be the best you could possibly do for an inning. And so that's why pitch count's very important inside of the health game. Everybody has different health, and in different styles. Framber Valdez would be a guy just like Max Fried that I would say would entirely be okay with just ripping curveballs all game, right? And that's what Fried's going to do again. You know what I mean? Wow. Right? And so the game has changed. I mean, I tweeted this the other day. If you're left-handed, not trying to throw 96, then you are completely misunderstanding what game is happening in front of you, because the Braves are literally showing you. Again, just like the Rays did last year with their version of it, with their, I don't know what the Indian arm thing is, right? But I love how Fox did that of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Shiva.
Like all of the arms. Shiva. Yeah, there we go.
Shiva.
Is it Indian?
It is Hindu.
Like Hindu would be the correct
religion.
Thank you. Right. Country of origin, India.
Country of origin, India. Right,
Yes.
But they speak
Hindu religion.
various languages. They don't speak Indian, right? So it's a Hindu god.
Right, exactly.
But that's the point. Like the arm slots, the angles, all the different stuff, right? So when you're throwing to, let's say, because again, I'm just talking about starting off the game, right? And I talked to a buddy of mine, and one of the things that he said, he was a leadoff hitter. He played college, he played JUCO, he played 4-year. And he just talked about, I knew that I had a different game plan upon different hitters, but just because I was leading off doesn't mean I wasn't trying to get mine. Right. I was like, wow, that's a powerful leadoff hitter.
Right.
Powerful leadoff hitter, right? So knowing that from a hitting perspective, right? So it feels kind of, because he is a good leadoff hitter, but also he's their best hitter. Jose Altuve, it's kind of little leaguey. We're going to put our best hitter leading off. Like this guy is our best guy, and we're putting him leading off, right?
Right.
Some teams believe in doing that almost in the 2-hole. You saw that for a little bit where MLB teams were putting their number 1 guy in the 2-hole. Joey Votto kind of had that trend for a while. He can get on base, he can hit, right? So when you're facing a dude that's leading off an inning, right?
Changes the whole thing.
Changes the whole thing, right? Talk about that for a second. How does
that?
I mean,
you see it with Tatis too, right? There's another guy you lead him off, right? And there's I think that now that almost anybody can score, it is entirely okay with the idea of a Corey Knebel who throws a 12-6 banger, starting the game off with banger heater, because that's what he would do in a game normally, and a lot of people, there's an assumption that your fastball is the easiest pitch for you to throw, and I just don't feel like that's the case for everybody. I feel like some guys like myself, they can just throw a cutter at will wherever the flip I want it.
Right.
I'm just like, all right, here you go. There it is, right? It's just easier. I mean, Darvish talks about the same thing about how his cutter is easier for him to throw than his four-seam, There's a lot of people, there's a lot of different styles to play this game, But that being said, all of these organizations are showing the same thing each time, which is like, they call it changing speeds. And it's such a bad way to talk about the idea, right?
Because it's not speed.
It is speed, but it's not.
But it's
speed.
More than that. It's way more than that. It's complicated.
Right, exactly. Right. And so 3-dimensional pitching, or whatever you want to call it, that a lot of people have called it, I think it's just, it's being exposed a little bit more in the blitzball world, where you're seeing some of these kids that really can spin it. I get caught up.
Video you sent me was incredible.
Right, wasn't it? Right.
Incredible.
And you see these guys that are able to create these crazy shapes, but then on the other side, and now you're getting people that are able to hit these crazy shapes. Right. And so it's definitely hand-eye coordination to the best. So, I would say that, seeing Altuve's record of what's going on, but really not knowing what his skill level is outside of a stadium, right? Like what is his vacuum skill level? You know what I mean? Where you're not getting any help. Because by the way, the Braves are 1,000% relaying on first base too. So we got multiple signs starting off. We're starting the game off with multiple signs with nobody on. So
and curveballs.
Yeah.
Like,
trust issues.
Yeah, dude, there is so much strategy going on that's like we're watching a game that's not being played that you see on the baseball field normally. Because we're watching a
we're watching people really trying to win now. Right?
This at bat, not the next this one right now.
We're not saving pitch. Right. Yes. In the season, you're like, okay, I've got to throw this guy because he's going to come back a week later, and then he's in this rotation of guys in the bullpen, and so we got to keep everybody healthy. So I've got to keep him at 30 pitches because if he goes to 40 pitches, he gets too sore and he doesn't come back, right? So we got to figure that out. So yeah, all of those things are just rather interesting. You know, of what's going to happen. So tonight, I'm really interested to see because I mean, Max Fried has to. By the way, because I know you throw 96, but like Altuve is going to have no problem with your 96, buddy. So, which is interesting to me, by the way, too. Like when I see
little armbar action on that 96 too, and I'm still going to take you deep.
Yeah, right.
Like you know.
And he cheats out over the plate. Like, he just jumps out over the plate. And he's like, yeah.
Dude, he is – I think his reaction time recognition is so incredible. That's why he's a great hitter. Hand-eye coordination. Hand-eye coordination. That's what it is.
Well, what about the fact that his eyes are literally lower on plane of the ball?
That's true. Like, he's eye level with the ball practically.
A lot, right?
Yeah.
Which means he would be very accurate with what he would be saying.
Very accurate. By the way, let's get a little Vegas in here for a second on the World Series. What do you think the odds are for tonight?
Oh God, Braves 1.5.
Oof, let's see. So right now the over/under is 8.5. You got the Astros by a 1.5. Wow. Houston is 56-32 in home games this year, and the Braves are 49-39 in road games.
Interesting. So who's got it?
Well, here, dude, what's interesting is like I'm reading what CBS has to say about it, which is very interesting, right? Because they're talking about ERA and innings and strikeouts, but like. Kind of what we're talking about. You're looking at, and you don't have to get more complicated with like sabermetric stats and stuff like that. But instead of talking about the ERA, you could talk about, hey, Tyler Matzik has been throwing a slider that nobody has seen. It's been throwing a fastball that has been running on hitters' hands, right? And he's doing a very good job of doing that. That's why he has an ERA, right, of 1.61. So I'm gonna go back to saying that because I've been wrong so far about defense because you haven't seen that much spectacular defense, right? You have seen a little bit more offense, some gamesmanship. I think this has just been a good series of baseball. Not a great series so far. These are the crazy games, though. Game 6 and 7. This is when things get hairy. This is when you have David Freese type moments.
Ooh.
You know, you go, wow. Do you remember where you were when that happened?
No, I don't.
I do. I was watching that game. Do you know the Super Bowl shuffle quarterback, Jim McMahon?
Yeah.
I was watching that with his son at the College of San Mateo. We were all huddled around after baseball practice. You get caught up watching the game, right? And we tuned in maybe the 4th or 5th inning after practice. We all just got caught up watching this game. And I remember he turned to me when he finished it, or we finished watching the game, and he just said, that was the best baseball game I've ever seen. I couldn't argue with it. It was an incredible game. Incredible game.
That's amazing.
Yeah. He drops the fly ball and then ends the game. You know, like You can be the guy even when you make a mistake. Drops a fly ball in like the 3rd or 4th inning.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of falls apart a little bit. Then they're down to their
Huge
last out.
fly ball. Huge
like,
fly ball.
Yeah. Yeah, a big fly ball. Dude, a lot of people forget about the Swifty Puma, Lance Berkman. He was on that squad. Excellent baseball. That was what Chris Berman calls him, the Swifty Puma. Like,
dude, he was a monster.
He was one of the best bat-to-ball guys. So my dad and I were talking about how great Jose Altuve really is because Carlos Beltran had the season of all postseasons, right, with the Astros. Nobody's maybe going to touch that again. But how many games has Jose Altuve played in for the Astros in the postseason, right?
Right.
And what he's done in those games, right? Like, maybe the Astros, before Jose Altuve got there, 30 postseason games in their history. Since he's been there, right? He's got 23 jacks, and he I don't know if he's played in 23 postseason games. He's probably maybe 21, but maybe more than that, maybe 30, right? So, like, his production has been unbelievable, and a lot of it comes from the leadoff spot because they just throw their dude out there leading off the game, which he can steal a bag, he can play to contact, and he can hit the ball 450 feet, right?
100%. 100%.
Leading off, man.
Maddox used to talk about how much trouble he'd have in the first inning, and it was really probably Leo Mazzoni's issue of Maddox trying to establish the fastball, like they would say. Right? Right? And I mean, if you're going to be you're no longer okay. Let's just go to the savant, right? Okay,
right.
Here we go. Tonight's starting pitcher, rookie, 24-year-old, 6'1", 244-pound Luis Garcia, who has 24-year-old on average 93 mile an hour fastball, 86 mile an hour cutter, 80 mile an hour slider, 80 mile an hour changeup, 76 mile an hour curve. Do those splits and ratios sound familiar?
Very.
Okay. That sounds familiar.
It's almost like a build-a player.
Showing ratios of 44% of the time he throws a four-seamer, and then everything else pretty much equals out to 60%. So you could say this guy is a two-pitch, fast-slow guy, and all of his hot zones are middle away.
Pretty game. Pretty typical, not
they know,
crazy
right,
stuff.
Exactly. So we're throwing a guy, right, that has, let's see.
He does typical baseball things.
Yeah. Batting average against, 301 on the four-seamer. Right? You know what I mean? Like, pull up.
Tell me this. Can you tell me what he does in the first inning?
Try to see. Hold on.
Do they have that? Because I'm all in on leading off right now because I'm trying to imagine the game through. Because I remember when Little League, we used to always put our best hitter leading off. That dude played baseball at UCLA eventually, right? So I mean, it made sense, right?
I got nothing on leading off, but I do have negative home run. Yeah, negative home run ratio. Doubters 1.8, mostly gone 25. No doubters. I can't believe this is no doubters and doubters in the home run really category.
I doubt that one's gone.
That one's mostly gone in most part. That is a no doubter. That's hilarious.
What a great stat. They should drop that. That would be funny.
Right. Swing zone. Okay, here's some good stuff. Chase percentage, 28%.
Ooh. This is
Edge
Luis.
Percentage. Yep. First pitch strike percentage, 60%. That's pretty good. Whiff percentage.
Filling it up, Travis.
30% whiff percentage. And then
30.
Here's my two.
So
other
he's
new
filling it up
categories.
and getting people to whiff. That's pretty interesting.
Meatball percentage, 7.2.
Yeah.
Meatball swing percentage.
Do they have a
78%.
meatball coinciding with a doubter, a no doubter?
I guess
So
That's
when he throws a meatball, mostly these are gone. So
yeah.
can you tell me it's Max Fried, right? What's Max Fried like? Because that dude's aggressive. Luis Garcia is equally aggressive, but he seems to be very typical of the right-handed pitching type. I'm going to work away and then go backwards eventually. But Max Fried, he can spin it. And if we're looking at what we're looking at, right, he's a guy that can spin it so he can execute a Braves game plan of petting the pit bull on the walk and throwing tons and tons of slow pitches, getting these guys to slow down. Because the Astros are predominantly like Michael Brantley, he's pretty good throughout the whole field, and Jose Altuve, but Correa and Gurriel, he goes up the middle a little bit, but his power's left. Bregman, their dude, he's left field for sure, right? A lot of those guys, if they're not getting executed middle away off speed, or I would say middle in with Max Fried coming in, right? Those guys aren't that effective. That's how the Dodgers got beat, man. Well, it was fastballs for the most part.
Right, 100%. Well, and all right, so here you go. Here's your answer. The four-seamer is going to play, and the cutter's going to play because there's both spinning at 2,300, right? So that's going to float. And you see he blows fastballs by guys because of the optical illusion that it doesn't go down at the end like most of the 2,000 and the 1,900 fastballs that these guys hit. You know what I'm saying? So
1900. Who's throwing to 1,900?
Dude.
1,900. Whoa.
Hold on.
Whoa. That thing's a running.
Hold on.
1,900 is incredible.
1,900 is not that much. It's slower. What are you talking about?
No, I know, but to actually throw a ball at only 1,900 when you're capable of what kind of an RPM, right? Like that's a change of speed. I can make the ball spin 3,200 and 1,900. That's a massive difference.
Dang it, where is this?
Because if whoever's owning that range of a spectrum is very good with their fingertips. Like they understand ball flight mechanics like a Top Gun pilot.
Okay. Are you ready? I'm gonna do some Brewster Gratterall fastball.
Ooh.
99 miles an hour.
Yeah.
2020 average spin 1977.
Dude, that's incredible.
Four seam spin 2017. 2021 average sinker spin 2065. So he raised it 100.
That's incredible.
How are you throwing a 99 mile an hour ball at 2000? Why is it spinning so little?
I don't know, John. I'm not that good at throwing balls.
Just saying. When I look at 6'4", 93 mile an hour throwing Luis Garcia, and it's seeing that it's spinning at 2,300 with less velocity, it makes me wonder, why is this ball so not spinning so much? I don't understand. What are we doing here?
Could be some sticky stuff.
Something's going on there.
Could be.
There is
19, so again, okay, go to Gratterall's slider or his curveball.
25 slider, 2,500.
2,500. So he's going 19 to 25. That's his range. 2 to 25. Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
And you can tell he's only gotten a little better at the slider because in 2019 it was 2,400, 2020 2,477, 2021 2,521.
Okay. What's Blake Trinan's? That dude has crazy axis of spin. I wouldn't be surprised if it's at 21 for his fastball, maybe that slider or whatever he calls it. Whatever that pitch is, it's gross.
Whatever that pitch is, it's gross.
Dude, some of these guys, like, they throw breaking balls that are just not traditional. It's not a curveball. It's not a slider. It does everything. And they make it go down. They make it go across.
All right, here we go. Blake Trinan, sinker, 22-31.
22-31.
And in his payday year, it was 23-71. So now we're dropped 100. So 100 wouldn't be. He might have done some sticky stuff in 2018 when he was trying to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
But it was that's sunscreen and rosin is 200. So I would say real. But in this chart of what he's got, dude, everything he's got. Look, slider that same year, 27-35. Now his slider's all the way down to 24-15. So definitely
you said 27-35.
All the way down to 24-15. He lost 300 spin.
Wow. That's incredible.
I'm telling you, dude, you can look at this stuff. This is
that
all
is
I look
incredible.
at. I'm just like, well, this is, of course.
Right.
Right.
Well, here's another take that I have for you then. What about, like, exit velocity and distance in, like, the past cut? Like, I always have believed that the postseason balls have always been wound a little bit tighter, you know, similar to the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby balls.
Well, I'll say
maybe
this.
that's just conspiratorial.
You're right about before. No. I think, well, there's proof. We have proof. People on YouTube have putting out, they've collected baseballs for the past, like, you know, however many years. And that's what it was. It showed that the balls are literally different than 2017, I believe, the year it started, which is also the home run numbers. So they're tighter wound. They have a higher PSI off, as well as they're more aerodynamic because they're tighter wound.
That's huge.
So, I mean, you want to fix
Massive.
steroids. I'll say it right now. You want to fix steroids, you juice the ball, and everybody has an even playing field. But that being said, that's why the sticky stuff came around, because the guys couldn't hold the ball because it was too tightly wound. Right?
Does the Korean ball fly better and the Japanese ball fly better because it's smaller?
It's also lighter. So.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
so no, it would
ours
not fly farther.
Ours is 5.25. Theirs is 5 flat.
So what would be better? A denser ball that's smaller around, or just the same ball, just real, like, I don't know what tightly wound means personally.
I think there's,
like, I don't know what that means.
It's like a PSI off of it. Like, so, like,
okay.
Imagine using a BB core and a Besser. That's what would be the difference. Right. Getting a lot of extra there. Your miss hits are going, right?
The orange stealth. Yeah. Take me back.
If we look at the home runs or whatever it is, let's look at home runs year to year.
So if you take, one of the obvious things was just go to home. If it happened in 2010 was the last season that Beezer was allowed in college and high school. And then 2011, everybody had BB court. Like that, like if you just looked at the average home run distance or exit velocity, I'd be very intrigued.
Yeah.
Because I remember
I'm gonna look at that too.
I remember hitting with the Easton Surge, and I honestly felt better swinging with a wooden bat. Like I would rather hit with a $40 Sport Chalet Dix Rawlings bat than this. You know, it felt empty. It felt like I was hitting with a Sprite liter of plastic.
Okay, here we go. So we're just gonna roll through it. So 1901 is when we start this. First year, 1901, combined AL and NL stats. We're going to go like every 100 years or so.
Right.
Or 50 years, right? So 1901, 455.
25.
Okay,
give me 25 years.
And then 25 years later,
1901, yeah. Woo!
Right?
Guys are getting better,
Big
too.
year.
The ball changed a lot.
Right?
Things have
now
changed.
We go to 1950, 2073. So
wow.
Up again. Right?
Exponential.
Up again, right? They've figured out the ball. Let's go 1975. 2,600, basically 2,700. 2,700.
2,700.
Boom.
Not as much. Going. Pitching kind of figured out the ball a little bit.
Right, okay, here we go. Let's go 85, 3,600.
Okay, wow.
85.
Hitters figured it out.
Yep. Here we go. 90. Let's go 90, 3,300. So about the same, right? And then let's see, 95, 4,095.
That's a lot. That's
2,000.
a lot.
Hey, 2,000 from 95 to 2,000, 5,700.
It's a lot of cheese and meat, a lot of weight room, a lot of whey protein.
2005, 5,000, so it dropped 600. That's still a lot. 5,000 home runs is so many.
Because Mark McGwire
retired.
God.
Right? Okay, now here we go. 2010, 4,600. It went down. Uh-oh.
Wow. 1,000. We've gone down 1,000.
Right, and this is all steroid era stuff in here. You can see it drop. It goes like 5,000, 4,000, 4,500, 4,100. Okay, 2015, 4,909. So we're doing good right here. We're back, right? Now here we go. Okay, 2016, 5,600. 2017, 6,100.
God bless. Let's go back to playing like that.
2018, 5,500.
That's not what we want.
2019.
2 years ago, pre-COVID.
6,700 home runs.
Is that the most all time?
Yeah.
Wow. 6,700 minimal steroids, more sticky stuff, right?
And we're bitching about the ball.
Okay, so
That's
what
hilarious.
is 6,700? What is that per game? Like, if you were to do that, like, what's that per team?
Well, so we had 3,400 on the National League, and then on the American League. 3,700 on the American League, 3,400 on the American League, and 3,300 on the National League.
So, like, what is that per team? Like,
okay,
there's 30 teams.
What's the total?
6,700 divided by 30.
No. It's 30 times 162.
Oh, that's true.
And then so that's 4,860. And so that's over. It's almost one a game because the ratio would be 4,800 over 67.
Dude, that's incredible. 76. That is incredible.
So you're getting 1.3 home runs a game. If you're going to a baseball game,
you're seeing a home run.
You're seeing amazingness.
Wow. And we're not talking about this unless you and I are doing this, right? And then some people, right? I'm one of them sometimes where I'm like, you guys got to know how to be golf type hitters where you need the sand wedge right now.
No, we're going to do it. It'll just be us.
Right?
It'll just be us.
It's just going to be us, right? It is incredible. 6,700 and we're 25 years since steroids when were steroids in baseball? 95 to 2005? Like, that was pretty much it, right?
Yeah, and then it comes through and like, you could say it's like 95 to 2000. Looking at these numbers, I mean.
Hold on. I have to look up. Because do you remember when they did that steroid the 30 for 30 on steroids in baseball? There was a guy that played for the Texas Rangers that beat Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco in a home run derby. And I remember he was the biggest out of them all. And I had never heard of this dude in my life. But the size of this man, and he was hitting balls that it didn't make sense how far he was hitting it. Because they're all looking like Aaron Judge. They're all drinking milk and doing steroids in the locker room. And each and every one of these guys was putting on a show, right? Now, we're hitting more home runs than when we had those guys in the game, right? And it's blowing my mind how we're not talking about the fact that something has changed in how baseball is being. It would be like if, again, more knockouts happened in boxing or MMA or more finishes happen. Like, home runs are the highest level of impact, right? It's more than a slam dunk because it's like baseball is played in smaller points than 2s and 3s with this limited or almost seems unlimited amount of time to score points, but it is limited, right? So,
right.
But the difficulty of hitting a home run is still the same. Like, it hasn't gotten easier. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like, if anything, it's gotten harder because guys are getting better at throwing. They're getting better at pitching. Blake Trinan is 6'9", throwing 97 miles an hour with a ball that goes to the left 5 inches, then back to the right. And then you've got guys like Framber, who, by the way, that dude's back. Like, I was watching him on the mound. Wow, deadlift, guys. You should deadlift or at least do some rows because that dude's jacked. But just the amount of effort, like I told you before, and I've said this to other people, I'll quote Kyle Bodie when I was at Driveline. He said, if Walker Buehler pitched in 1920, he would go to jail for war crimes and sorcery because people wouldn't understand what he's doing with this baseball, right? And the fact that we're averaging a home run a game is incredible. Like, that's incredible. So, like, if I guaranteed that you showed up to a, like, I don't know, a football game, and you said, hey, you're going to see a kickoff return for a touchdown today. What? Yeah, you're going to see that. What do you mean? Yeah, or you're going to see a pick six. Guarantee it. Like, you can guarantee one of those things. Almost two. Like, you could say, we might see two. We might see two. If you went hunting and you were going to guarantee every day you went out, you were going to see a deer, maybe two, so many people are going to be interested in that. Because it relieves some of the, I don't know, because you know something cool is going to happen.
Yeah,
right.
No, I agree.
You know something cool is going to happen. I couldn't agree more.
Well, I mean, and that is definitely to the commissioner of baseball. That's definitely been the plan.
Right.
And so it is a difficult process, right, to have people understand what's going on. Because you got to look at these numbers like this and understand that, like, this is real shit. Like, this is really happening right now in front of us where, they're not admitting that the ball's being doctored, right? But look at, like, how does this, so what, we just got better at making baseballs? Like, that's such an easy thing. Just come out and say it, that the ball, as weird as it sounds, Bauer has been dead on all of these things. Standardize the ball, standardize the sticky stuff, make the playing field even, so you don't have this massive disadvantage because, weirdly, it works against a lot of American ball players. It really does, because they're not allowed to play the game this way or practice with sticky stuff or, in the moral high ground that goes with that. Meanwhile, you got the rest of the world. It's like whatever they can do to get off the island. It's not even thought about in the same process of, like, hacking and winning the ball game. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, I'd say there's somebody in there that knows what they're doing, but as of right now, I'm not very aware of very many people that are processing this information for what we see it as,
I could not agree more. And while I was doing that, I was just looking up the most career postseason home runs, right? Jose's number 2. And the guys that are on that, like, a lot of those guys played so many seasons, and it kind of goes with you and what you said about the commissioner, right? Like, yeah, the Astros cheated. Okay, get over it. I still need to get over it. But just in a whole baseball kind of, like, marketing standpoint, you were right. You're super right. Like, shame on you for not making our game look better by talking about what we're doing really well right now. Like, there should be some accountability on that. Like, yeah, you're in charge of every team, but you should also be making this game look really good,
Right. I mean, 6,700 home runs down to 59, 44 in 2021 is wild. It's wild.
That's 1,300. 1,300. That's a lot.
800.
Oh, sorry.
67 to 59. That's okay.
Oh, I thought you said 54. I was like, whoa. That was a fat drop.
Right. I mean, and who knows if COVID doesn't happen, and they can't experiment with some of these other rules to try to do whatever. And like, you're complaining about the pitchers. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
The pitchers are fighting for their life. How do you stay in the big leagues? You put your hand in this jar, you make it sticky as possible, and hopefully it doesn't get smoked.
So I'm really kind of obsessed with the Jose Altuve stat to kind of boast what you're talking about and what we're talking about, which is Manny Ramirez had almost 500 plate appearances in the postseason to hit 29 home runs. Jose Altuve is going to crush that if he continues to make the postseason. He's going to crush that. He's going to do it in almost half the time probably.
Well, and that's 1,000% because of the ball.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Like,
I mean, there's
the
definitely
ball
an
has
asterisk
changed.
situation here.
Yeah.
We definitely have an asterisk situation here. No doubt. No doubt.
Literally
How could you not?
500
How could you
at-bats.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
crazy.
I remember it used to be so hard to hit it that far. You know what I mean? Like, watch, and then think about this. Like, Chipper Jones back in this era, this dead ball era, if you want to call it, whatever you want. We need to name it, by the way.
Can't call it the dead ball era. They named that 1905 to now. It's like the dumbest, or the live ball era. Dead ball was before.
Yeah, live ball.
Which is so weird.
Well, I think we should recategorize this thing or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely wowzers because I don't know, man. I mean, it's definitely something that needs to be said.
Where is,
you know what I mean?
What?
Definitely something.
What is the? I'm going to ask you another question about baseball. I'm going to act like you're the commissioner, right? Commissioner Sintez.
Okay.
Right? So, Commissioner Sintez, what can we do to standardize baseball to make it a more even playing field from the development in the Dominican and the development in the United States? What are some things that we could take care of to get kids to play the same game from a ball bat perspective?
Well, I would say that swing wood only would be the first thing. That would absolutely be the first thing is like,
Love
we
it.
got enough composite bats now out that there's no doubt that we shouldn't just have everybody swinging wood bats, especially with what DeMarie and all these doing. It's obvious that that is a money grab too by Louisville and all those guys too to keep that thing going there. So we should just all get together and do it at the same time so it's fair. That's how you do it. You just, hey guys, organizations, everyone all together, we understand aluminum bats are great, but we were going to make a 13U cutoff where there are not going to be any more aluminum bats at 13.
Hold on. I forgot to ask you a pre-question to that, Commissioner Sintez. You are the commissioner when I ask this question. Do you think that the MLB is responsible for setting an example of what a baseball player is to trickle down to the lower levels? Not who they are as a person, but like with what we're saying, because if we're standardizing what we're looking at on the television, that means that these guys are the prime examples of what a baseball player is, right? Just like if you watch an NFL game, right? Those are the best guys out there, right? So that's what I mean. Like, they play those rules, right? So would you expect that the MLB game, right? Not the players, I shouldn't have said that. The game of Major League Baseball should be the example that's trickled down.
Yes, of course.
That's what I should have asked.
That's well, and you have a lot of people not teaching that version of the game.
Right.
You know, you're trying to win 10U ball games with leave early plays and bunting 4 times in a row.
Running after a walk to second base.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? All of these things in this side of this game get ruined as soon as the ball moves faster than they do. As soon as they can actually throw it and they can rip it across the infield and the guy's 10 feet off and it moves faster and you catch tag, right? That entire game goes away. So that's not sustainable, and they're not even looking at it, I would say. And so you get a lot of these kids into this small ball type idea, and by all means, go be a college baseball player and do your thing. But if you're not paying attention to what the game, like where these guys are, right? Who the top hitters in the game are all Latin American guys that have been swinging wood bats since they were 12.
Yeah.
Like maybe even earlier. You know what I mean? Earlier than 12. But
Exposed.
It's right. I mean, it's so obvious to me that when you put a real wood bat in an American kid's hands, that he immediately becomes no threat. No threat. Zero threat. Doesn't even understand how it works. Doesn't even just grabs it and hacky hack. Yeah. I'll come at every one of you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when I was in college, I had a baseball friend of mine who played pro ball for minor leagues. And I remember I was hitting off the tee with a wood bat. And I hit with a wood bat when I was 12, but, you play high school, you're mainly swinging your middle bat a lot, right? And then you go back to the wood bat in the summer. So it's kind of like back and forth. But I remember he told me, he was like, you can't hit. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you hear nothing off of your wood bat. I remember he just told me that I was like 19 or 20. And he was like, you can't hit yet. You need to just hit with a wood bat. You just can't hit yet. Until you can hit a home run with a wood bat, you can't really hit. And I remember I took that personally. And so I just swung with the wood bat for a lot.
Yep.
And I do believe that. What you said, though. Wow. Can we end on that? That was a bomb.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That was a bomb. That was a great one.
That was phenomenal.
Hey, if you don't have a wood bat.
Down.
If you don't have a wood bat, go buy one.
There's so many good ones online now. There's so many good ones online.
Here, let's do.
You know what I mean?
Let's do one more thing, right?
Okay.
JustBats.com, right? You can buy like a 4-pack from there for like $200, and you get 4 wood bats. Yeah. Come on, 4 wood bats, $200. It's what's your metal bat? $5.99, and you get one of those.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
No, go even further. Get one of them DeMarini like 250. I think it's 250. I think.
Oh, the composite,
kind of like
Johnny's?
a box. Yeah, but they have an in-loaded composite.
Hey.
Always
all right, we got to get out of here. She just got scooped.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Later, guys.
All right, appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a good one.